Hello there. Thanks for joining us for the Turning Prairie into Prosperity Regional Food Summit. We're here in the office studio for the recording, but the event was held at the Grayville Senior Center in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. The room was set up with several banquet tables and chairs facing the front of the room. They had placed a TV to display my presentation, and I also brought a large notepad to scribe notes as we brainstormed many ideas throughout the night. About 30 people attended, and we enjoyed fresh Subway for dinner and conversation. Although the meeting lasted almost 2 hours, we are providing a condensed version of that original slide deck to share the evening. Our meetings are always open to the public, and we hope to see many new faces at upcoming events. When we began, we were what I understand now to be backyard hobby gardeners. So while we tended bees and chickens, and we had a small garden, but we didn't depend 100% on our output. So we probably grew or raised about 30% of what we were eating. And we started selling our products at the farmer's market, and we wanted to use my partner's name, Ginn, because it was a large family with a great reputation in the area, and we thought that would help us sell more food. However, when the nonprofit work began, the funders were often confused because our brand appeared to represent one farm. So we began as Ginn Farms in motto of protecting our honeybees by encouraging new farmers to consider natural farming practices that encourage self-reliant communities. And that's where the funders got kind of confused. And so in 2016, the nonprofit was awarded from the IRS. And in those first few years, that's how we presented ourselves, was Ginn Farms. And then in 2018, we adopted the doing business as in our Indiana area as Fresh Local Food Collaborative, and structured it more of a food policy aimed at connecting local producers with new customers and encouraging those sustainable practices. And that made a lot more sense to the community and made it easier for us to move forward. Mission and strategic goals helped us better align with the funders and the customers. And so in our industry, we're known as value chain coordinators. And so we headed west on 50 looking for producers. And that's how we got connected with the greater Wabash region. And so our work connecting with IGAs and institutional buyers created this demand of 1,000 cucumbers, 500 bell peppers, and 500 pounds of watermelon weekly, and in the third and fourth season. And so we looked at ways to get indoors, and we have connected with the community in Olney and have a project there hoping to stimulate a greenhouse to do some indoor growing to extend the season there. So what I've learned about this area is the people are very passionate about environmental conservation. They want to use the prairie for prosperity, but in a way that is true and healthful to the land. And they want to offer opportunity for residents and community members to have jobs, that fulfill them and their their goals. And they want access to food because it is such a small insulated community. There is a real lack of access to grocery stores or even restaurants and places for people to connect with food. And that's really the focus of what we want to talk about tonight. So I wanted to ask the folks in attendance, what really is their idea of the word prosperity? What do they mean specifically to Grayville when that town coined the phrase turning prairie into prosperity? And these things were the first thoughts that came from the city leaders really across the whole region. Everyone chimed in, and they want for prosperity is available jobs, decent wages to raise their family, and an infrastructure that supports that with roads and healthy water and access to internet and electricity. Human resources that are available to fill the openings that are created. One community that's struggling with a large employer that came to town, and having the right kinds of people trained correctly to be able to meet these jobs, they thought was an important piece of the puzzle. And then creating new opportunities. And we talked a lot about opportunities for agriculture and what some of those small jobs, small business opportunities could look like for agriculture and new opportunities. And then also prosperity, they thought, was when you are allowing the residents to grow and to be their best self. And that would include investors in the area to support our idea, and funding sources to launch big projects, and someone really to drive the bus. We also had Quint Redmond from Agriburbia visit us via Zoom link from Colorado, where he's developing an amazing technology to help extend the growing season that helps meet this demand. So this agri-hood concept starts with the farm in the middle and then considers the lands and the natural resources around it to secure that regional sustainability. The neighborhood is built around the farm, and the farm feeds the neighborhood. So right now we need to identify a farmer. We're in search of a farmer that would be interested in donating their property into a land trust for this project. We would develop a whole separate organization, board of directors, governing agencies. We could all of that TBD, but we wouldn't own it, but we certainly would help you get established and launch the project so that this could be successful in the region and become really the base model for all of our future programming. So again, we spent some time brainstorming and developed this set of items, key points to consider. We wanted to be sure there were thriving grocery stores that offer local products. We want to develop community programs that encourage shopping local habits. We want to sponsor agribusinesses to drive economic development, things like maybe mobile markets or recycling centers, or take and bake products, things that could be helping our local residents find access to more food. We want to definitely offer affordable housing that allows the growth that we would all love to see. And we want to be true to the prairie and be preserving those natural resources. So these topics really become the core of what the visioning committee is trying to accomplish and help us set the baseline for our future efforts. So then we wanted to know what's next. So really we want to get involved in a feasibility study. We want to do some research of the community and talk to residents about things they would like to eat and things they would like to grow, and what are the barriers to both of those things so that we can be sure our future programming meets those. Now I know of two people. One is Don Elmore. He's with the Illinois Small Business Development Center up north, and he's a state lead but wants to do the study for us because of his own personal interest. So he does have a solid relationship with the local SBDC, and he's going to be able to work with them in tandem. I think that he's getting ready to retire though, and so I'm not sure how much help that he would be, but he would be free. I also know of a man, Ken Meter. He's out of Minneapolis. He's done a lot of feasibility studies of local food. It's kind of his specialty, but he's not ever done one in our area. Really, no one has. So he's about $30,000 to $50,000, and we would have to get funding together for that. And then at that point, Heather Newman with the Greater Wabash Regional Planning Commission mentioned that maybe she knew somebody that could help us get that done as well. All right, so here we are at the end in the work plan and what are the next few steps. So we know the Agriburbia timeline is in the spring, that they will be ready to take on a new partner. We know the feasibility study could happen early this next year, pending some funding that our offices will go after. We know that we want to find a way to disseminate information across the public. And it sounds like what we learned today is the local Facebook pages might just be the easiest way to get information out. And so want to be able to start to send information to the communities about these new projects. And yeah, that was about it. We decided our next meeting would be in the first quarter of 2022, tentatively January 13th, and we adjourned the meeting. Thanks to everyone that attended. It was a fantastic success.